Hey guys, Metal Jesus here, and I'm back again with Radical Reggie.
What's up, man?
What's up? What? I can't understand. Reggie, you okay? What's? Dude, this is so weird. All right, so let's do another fist bump. Reset it.
Everything okay now?
Yes.
Oh, there we go. Okay. Right on.
Whew, okay, we're back to normal.
We're back to normal, and we have a bunch of cool items to show you guys.
Yes.
Get ready for our awesome pickups.
Let's take a look. All right, dude, I'm gonna go first. Okay. And we had a really cool fan of the channel, both of our channels actually, reach out to us. His name's Jeff, with a really cool donation. You and I are gonna split these up. Okay. It's a mix of stuff he got while working at GameStop and also stuff he got directly from Sony.
Okay.
Okay, so some GameStop banners here, which I thought was pretty cool. Cool. Check these out.
Dude, Resistance, Fallen Man, that game is...
And they're 3D. They're kind of like this 3D, the dimensional poster promotional thing. Also, too, here... And so you and I are going to kind of like figure out which ones we want to leave with. Obviously,
Smash Bros. From
GameStop. Probably looks familiar to people. As well as Kratos here.
Right on, dude.
Very cool. But he also sent us some stuff like this. I thought was pretty cool. So this is a cover for the
PS3.
The PS3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And a bunch of... So he knows I'm collecting for the PSP. Mm-hmm. So these are sealed demo discs for the PSP and the PlayStation 2.
Nice, dude. Heck yeah.
So basically what he would do, I guess back in the days at Sony on their website had like a trivia thing that they would do. And he would basically do the trivia, answer like PlayStation related questions, and these are some of the rewards.
Right on.
This is not all he sent. Actually, I may save some of it for a future pickups video, but you and I are gonna share the booty here. So
awesome, dude. Heck yeah, dude. Right on.
Yeah, so thank you very much, Jeff. That was really cool.
Awesome. All right, so I'm going to start us off here, and this game right here is Rogue Flight. This game is freaking insane, man. I found out about this game because my buddy Sean Powers, he said, "Hey, Reggie, you got to try this game out." It plays like Afterburner mixed with a little bit of Star Fox. Well, either or, you know, it's definitely half of both games. But dude, this game is on point. It has everything you would want in an arcade game. It's fast. It's got great story. It's got like so much stuff going for it. I'm like, I can't even like, express it right now, like how good this game is. And it came out as a physical release first, which is nice. You know, well, it came out as physical release first with digital and everything like that. So,
sure.
Man, but lots of good voice acting, multiple endings, lots of weapons, just
lots of chaos on the screen.
Yes, lots of chaos going on. It's just something like a love letter to people who like play the old school like 16-bit era and like arcade type games like Afterburner, of course, Star Fox again.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. And like these are the type of games that I love, man. Like it just goes back to my childhood.
Yeah, again, it doesn't seem like they're making these kind of games that much anymore, and when they are, you gotta jump on it.
Yeah, it's like, and then like most of them maybe like might come out like it's digital only and might get lost in that shuffle and everything.
That is true.
But if you guys you see Sean Powers out there, buy him a beer, not Bud Light, get him a Coolers because that's his favorite type. But Sean, this is for you, man. Appreciate you because I would have never knew about it.
We need those people in our lives. That's actually the role that you play in mine. So.
Right on, man.
All right, so next up for me is Beyond Good and Evil, the 20th Anniversary Edition.
Yeah. I
pre-ordered this from Limited Run a while ago. And, dude, this is a funny game because I told you I was playing this game, right? And this is a game that I've started and stopped several times over the past, like, 20 years, basically. Because I would always get to a part, especially in a couple of the early levels, where I just didn't know what the heck to do.
Yeah. And I know exactly where you were probably at the factory level, which is annoying.
It is. There's a couple parts in those where it just doesn't tell you what to do, and you have to kind of like watch a walkthrough. Anyways, all that said, I sat down and I was like, I'm finishing this game, and I did, and I really enjoyed it. I understand why so many people are still passionate about this game 20 years later.
Yeah.
Because It's a whole world, literally, that they make. And the characters...
And it's very vibrant, too. Like, it's just like you want to explore everything. It's like the towns, the people. It's just, overall, it's just great. And hopefully with this release here, I'm hoping a resurgence will happen and we'll get beyond in Good and Evil Part 2. Yeah. We'll see what happens. I mean, that game's been in limbo more time than... It's been in limbo like a longer than a Duke Nukem Forever.
Oh, dude, and it I mean, no spoilers, it's been 20 years, but, it does end on a cliffhanger, and you're like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? But I like this game because, again, it was really cool because it has so many things. It's got platforming, it's got stealth, it's got combat, it's got, you're on the hovercraft, and... Spoiler, you go to space.
Yes, you do.
So it's got it all. And what's cool about this version of it is that there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff on this disc. So there's a bunch of videos about the making of it. There's original artwork. If you are a fan of that game, you must try to play this game. This version of it. It's pretty 100%.
Cool. So hopefully if this sells well, maybe they'll bring out the second one. If not, they'll probably give us another Assassin's Creed. You guys are ready for that. So
that's true.
All right, so next game here, definitely, this will be familiar to a lot of people. This is the Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection.
Oh, okay.
I'm so happy that Capcom brought this out, and got a lot of cool fighting games finally released in pretty much arcade perfect form with a bunch of extras. It even has the Punisher beat 'em up game on here as a little extra game. So really cool. If you're a fan of fighting games, you gotta. This is a must-have collection for you. And I think they're kind of like building up like whether people will be interested in Marvel vs. Capcom 4. So hopefully this sells well enough. I'm sure it will, and we'll get that game finally. But while they have the rights, because rights don't last forever, so I don't know how long their contract is. But hopefully they're already starting Marvel vs. Capcom 4. But love these games. My favorite out of them. I want to say Marvel Superheroes because I love the gem system, but playing it now is a little bit slow compared to X-Men vs. Street Fighter. I would probably lean more towards that one. And of course, everybody loves Marvel vs. Capcom 2. That's the game that just really brought everybody together on them, like tournaments and everything. But great collection, and it even comes with a comic inside.
I saw that.
That was cool. Pretty cool. But yeah.
Wow.
Fighting game fans, pick this up. It's on sale. Well, I shouldn't say it's on sale right now because we don't know when this video will come out. But look for it out there.
It goes on sale, which is cool. Okay. All right. Next up for me is a game I showed you last night, and I was like, "Have you heard of this game?" And you're like, "You'd heard of it, but I don't think you'd played it." That is Pepper Grinder.
Yes.
So this is a game that I kept hearing about, and finally I was like, okay, I want to get a copy of this. It's what I consider to be kind of like Drill Dozer meets Dig Dug, essentially.
Yeah.
And would you agree that that's
I would agree,
like?
Exactly.
Basically, it's a platforming game where you have this massive drill, and essentially you're drilling through the dirt, and you're collecting gems. You're also solving a little bit of kind of environmental puzzles every once in a while. But then you start getting more... I guess upgrades, so you get like a grappling hook, which changes the game completely.
Well, here's the thing that was crazy about the game. When I saw it, it's like going super fast. So we're like, what the heck, dude? So Jay was telling me like it's like at 100%, but you have to kind of like, I mean, I would set it down to 50%. It would see the game like that would be normal, but it throws you off when
Dude, it's so funny you mention that because when I first got the game, I was like, I'm terrible at this game. Like you know what I mean? Because you're right, it's so fast.
Yeah.
And you're just trying to get it because you're leaping around, you're drilling all over the place. It's really fast. And then I go into the options. I'm like, oh, you can slow it down, which is really cool. You can actually dial this game into exactly how you want to play it. And then you can speed it back up anytime you want. So I thought that was a really cool feature. One, honestly, I'd like to see in other arcade-style games that are like that. Why not, right?
Yeah, definitely, man. Cool.
Yeah, Pepper Grinder.
All right.
And now I want to tell you about the sponsor of this video. I'm lucky that the Seattle area has several local retro gaming stores, but, I understand that not everybody has that in their town. And I'll be honest, I don't always find what I'm looking for locally, and I will go online to do some treasure hunting. That's where an app like Whatnot really helps out. Whatnot is a live stream platform where you can buy, sell, and auction literally anything. For buyers, this is a great place to find deals on video games, both old and new, but also pretty much everything else that you would be interested in. Yes, I do love my video games, but I also collect vinyl records and the occasional Star Wars figure. What's cool is that Whatnot has that and a ton more. It's kind of crazy how big the marketplace is with this app, and it's very busy pretty much 24/7. Now for sellers, you'll have access to thousands of eager shoppers looking to buy what you're selling. The average seller on Whatnot earns around $25K a year, which works out to be about 10 times more transactions compared to other peer-to-peer marketplaces. And as a special bonus to Metal Jesus viewers, once you download the app using my link, you're going to get $20 from Whatnot to spend anywhere on their app. They normally do $15, but for my audience, they're bumping that up to $20. That $20 credit will be automatically added to your wallet and applied at checkout. But that special deal for Metal Jesus viewers is for a limited time only, so you're going to want to jump on this immediately. So, whether you're looking for video games, music, sneakers, toys, jewelry, or more, you're definitely going to want to check out Whatnot, and I want to thank them for sponsoring this video.
Next thing, here we're going to go with a couple games from Project Retro Games. They actually made a Xenocrisis. Well, he made them in physical form, but Xenogears, I said XenoCrisis. Xenogears 2.0 is actually a reversion of the game where it plays in Japanese with English subtitles, because people prefer the Japanese voices over the English, which I could understand.
Yeah.
But he made a collector's edition out of these, and also with Alundra too. There's another version of Alundra, I believe it's like a better translation and everything like that. So, and CastleVania as well. And he made them all like nice collector's edition, covered with soundtrack, art books, all kind of cool stuff. I'm like, dude, like they are on it, man. Like Project Retro, man. Like seriously, you know. And you know, these to play the games, you have to have a modded console, but if you already have the games, you could just probably put your regular game in here too to make it look nice. But still, awesome collections, a bunch of detail, and I just love what he did with this. I love how he's like they're like putting the better versions of the game in physical format for us to play. So definitely something really cool for you guys to check out.
Okay, it says fan made for the fans.
For the fans, yeah. Huh. Project Retro, he's all about the fans, the hardcore.
Yeah. Wow, that's cool. Okay, never seen those before. All right, next up is another retro game that got a physical release, and I jumped all over it because I was excited to get it. That is Ninja 5.0. What's cool about this is that this is another limited run that I ordered a while ago. It comes with two versions of it. It comes with Ninja 5.0 and then also Ninja Cop.
Oh,
and,
okay.
Yeah, so it comes, which I assume is probably the European version of the game.
Oh, okay, so versions, okay.
So this game is one of the more expensive collectible.
Yeah, it's like a $700 game on Game Boy Advance, the original, So.
Yeah, which I don't have, and so I was like, well, this is the way I'm going to play this game for sure, and get a physical version of it. One of the reasons why I think this game is so sought after is because it's so good. It's a really well-made game.
It went under the radar, and it was really good. So
the only thing that's kind of tricky about it is that you do have a grappling hook, and there's a little bit of a kind of a inertia that you have to kind of get to swing around to get up onto ledges. That takes a little bit of time. It took me a little bit of time to figure out, but once I did that, man, I was loving this game. So
is this like upscale from the Game Boy Advance version? Did they change some stuff, or is this the exact same version?
It's pretty much the exact same version.
Okay.
I mean, so it's not modified as
far
as I know
around
it
and everything. So
because so it basically, like I said, it's just a love letter to that really expensive game that most people can't afford.
Right on. Heck
that's the way to get it, right?
Good stuff. All right, next game here, Grand Theft Auto on the Sega Dreamcast.
Oh,
yeah. Everybody's
Grand Theft Auto 3. Yes,
3. Yes. So.
Wow.
I guess some modders been working on it for a long time, and it came out really good for the Dreamcast. Like, it's very impressive. So this company called Knights Repro, Knights in the Dream, he keeps changing his name around, Knights in the Dream or Knights Repro. He made a physical for it, and I wanted to
that
get
was
that
quick.
Yeah, so that's yours, man.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, that's for you.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, and you know what's cool? Like, it's not the best version to play, but it's the most impressive version to play. Like, you're playing that on your Dreamcast, you're like, dude, I cannot believe this.
Oh,
like,
yeah. No, I mean, when this came out, and I watched videos from my Digital Foundry and Modern Vintage Gamer did a bunch of kind of like why this is so impressive. They were actually even like able to pull it off.
Yeah, amazing. All the radio stations, everything's intact.
Wow, interesting. Yeah.
From what I know, I haven't beat it yet, but
Yeah. Well, geez, these games are long. So, but it's been a while since I've gone back and played Grand Theft Auto 3. I mean, literally since it came out on the PlayStation 2.
Yeah, back in the
Yeah. Wow, cool. Thank you. That's awesome. All right, next up is a game that you and I were going back and forth a little bit, and we're going to talk about it now because I think I liked it a little bit more than you, and that is Somerville. So, so this is by the makers of Limbo
and Inside, I believe, are one of they're same producers involved. Something like that.
Which those games I thought were just okay, but honestly, I didn't really like that much. I thought they were okay. I enjoyed this one much more.
Okay,
and the reason why I did is because This one, because it's got a really heavy sci-fi aspect to it, and I love science fiction.
Right.
But the whole premise of this game is that you are a family in your house, and essentially war breaks out with an alien invader that basically takes over the entire world, as far as I know. Your character, this guy, wakes up, and your family's gone, and some time has passed, and you go out, and it's like the whole world is completely changed.
Yeah, changed and everything. Like everybody's like just hiding out and trying to find your family. Listen, I'm still in the beginning of the game, and I'm trying to like it. It's just I just feel like the pacing is off a little bit for me because I don't want to get stuck like trying to like open the door when I'm trying to like want to see what's going on or something. I just think the pacing, if it's just in the beginning, it should be a little bit faster, and then maybe get a little bit more puzzly later when it gets towards.
Well, to that point, there is a puzzle fairly early on, and I think it gets a lot of people. It involves a bucket of water or a bucket of stuff that you're supposed. And I had to watch a walkthrough. I was like, "What am I doing wrong with this?" It was
because it becomes too time consuming. You're like, "Oh, I'm going to play something else." But I just feel like this game is probably like at the longest without puzzle, maybe an hour and a half.
Yeah,
but they checked on the puzzles to kind of slow you down a little bit. And I'm okay with no puzzles. Maybe just a little puzzle in, had that thrilling experience. But
there's definitely a big mystery involved in this game, and there's no dialogue whatsoever. There's no English dialogue or anything. And so I would say one of the criticisms of this game is that it has multiple endings, and depending on how well you understand the alien language will determine what ending you get. And it's really hard to understand the alien language. And so, I think there's like 5 different endings on this. One including one you just literally give up.
So
which is pretty funny.
Would you say the game, like if your first time playing it, is it possible to get the best ending? Or
I don't think so.
Yeah, so they put a Valkyrie profile on us, basically.
Because in my opinion, the best ending is this long sequence at the end of the game where you're trying to communicate with these aliens in this kind of musical language, and you would have, in my opinion, you would have no idea what to actually say to them, or you would maybe hit upon it kind of like randomly, and it's not for everybody. However, I really like the mystery of it and the science fiction aspect of it. It was kind of cool, some of that stuff, so I dug it, but not for everybody, for sure.
Okay, we'll see.
Yeah.
Next game here, reaching over here, we got V-Rally Part 3 for the Game Boy Advance. Now, I'm always looking for games that are impressive on the Game Boy Advance, and I saw this game, and I was like, yes, man, I got to pick this up, man. Went online and saw it was pretty expensive, so we went for the PAL version, which was a lot cheaper. So I was like, perfect. But very impressive off-roading racing game, man. Like you're driving in third person, which is really nice, but you can also go in first person on the Game Boy Advance. And I love how it looks like you show your hands on the steering wheel turning and everything. I love how they did that.
It's one of the few games that is 3D, or simulated 3D on the 3D Advance, or Game Boy Advance.
Right.
And I think for that reason alone, I think myself included, there was a time where I was looking for a lot of 3D games because I thought they were kind of interesting on the Game Boy Advance, and so that's
still
cool.
finding some gems on that system. Awesome.
Okay, all right, next up for me, this is a game I never thought I'd see come out. That is Freedom Wars Remastered on the PlayStation 5. So this was originally a PlayStation Vita exclusive, and it came out on the Vita, and I think people were, if you were into the Vita, you knew about this game.
100%.
It's a pretty cool action RPG. But it's been so long, I think, that when this got announced, I was like, really? They're bringing that back? And thankfully they did, because it is a game worth playing. It is very similar, in my opinion, to kind of like Monster Hunter in the way that it plays, and how you kind of go out and you take on some of these, I forget, they're like abominations or these things that, abductors, I think is what they're called. And the premise of this game is pretty crazy. So essentially, it is a crime to be born. Because resources are so scarce on Earth that they don't want any more people, and if you happen to be born, you are born with a sentence of 1 million years.
Wow.
Yeah, and so essentially the premise of this game is that you have to do good deeds, help out society, take on these missions to get rid of parts of your sentence, and also get perks and things that you can make your life a little bit better and easier.
Wow, okay.
It's a crazy kind of story. It's actually, and the combat's really fun. So
Okay, I have to look into this one. I never paid attention to it when it came out on the Vita, so definitely we'll try this one out.
And they tweaked the game a little bit. Obviously, it looks much better now. The original Vita had a lower resolution. This actually runs really well, and so they cleaned up the graphics quite a bit. And they also, I believe, they changed the controls to more modern.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Good stuff, man. Okay.
Yeah.
You know how to pickle, man. Awesome.
That was a surprise. I know, because I have the Vita version. I was like, okay, yeah.
So, next game here, I think Jason really liked. This is called God of Rock.
Dude, I've seen this, and I didn't know what it was.
Yeah, dude. This is a verse fighting game, but you play it like a musical in a way, like a Guitar Hero. Like, you just go by the tunes, and if you get the tunes right, the harder your hit and everything like that, you can do special moves. It was very tense for me the first time playing it, because you really got to get used to how the songs play.
Okay.
You get used to get a flow going for yourself. Like, when I first played it, I was getting beat up pretty hard. I was like, dude. And then you can play this game online with other people, which is probably exciting. But once you get the rhythm right, you'll start pulling off all these special moves, looking pretty cool and everything like that. I just think it's a unique look at a fighting game by playing it with, like, just button presses, like, with the tune of the songs and everything like that. So, that game is pretty unique, I think.
Yeah, so I do like rhythm games. I do have fairly decent rhythm, being a musician and stuff like that, and being a drummer and guitarist. So I will have to try this. This might actually be my kind of fighting game. Oh, okay. Yeah, I've seen that in stores, and I'm like, what the heck is that?
Yeah. They gotta do, I mean, I like the way the cover looks, but
it does look cool.
I just feel like God of Rock, like, what is that?
Yeah. All right, next up is a game. I'm going to switch over to the Switch here. A game I have been obsessed with, as a lot of people, Balatro. So have you heard of this game?
I have not.
So this, I believe, won a bunch of Game of the Year awards. And finally I was like, okay, I'm just going to get a copy of it. To be honest, I've actually been playing it more on my iPad, but I wanted a physical version of this game, and so I got it on Switch. So it's kind of hard to describe. Essentially, it is kind of like poker meets, I don't know, like an RPG or something like that. However, if you go into it thinking that you need to know how to play poker, you don't need to know how to play poker. You just need to know how hands come together, whether it's two of a kind, full houses, flushes, things like that. But the real gem to this game is all of the jokers that you put down that modify your score. So you guys are seeing on the screen here. Essentially what you do is you basically have to get to a certain score level to beat that round. And you do it through collecting these kind of power-ups.
Right, okay.
And these power-ups do multipliers, and they do kind of all these kind of like RPG-like things.
Okay.
And dude, I'm telling you, there's a reason why people have put hundreds of hours into this game, because it's so addictive.
So when you pull out certain moves, does it do like a special, like graphical thing or something like that?
Really, what you're just trying to do is just beat the computer.
Okay.
And there is a lot of animation in this game, and it's got kind of like a retro look to it. But really, it's about collecting cards, putting down hands, trying to get multipliers of your score.
Okay.
It's incredibly addictive. It's one of those games where it's easy to pick up, and then you suddenly have like hours of your life, or weeks or months go by. So. Yeah, and to be honest, I'm not even like super great at it. Like I've seen people online who.
Wait, how'd you find out about this game though?
Well, I found out because it was winning all sorts of Game of the Year awards.
So that's how.
Yeah, but to be honest, I normally don't pay attention to card games that much. I mean, back in the day, I would play a little bit of poker as a kid, but I really haven't played it much. This got its hooks in me.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll have to show it to you to see if it's something you're interested in. What's cool about it is that on my iPad, it's free. So, and there's like no ads. So that's part of the reason why I also played it. And then when I got that, I'm like, oh, there's a physical Switch version. I'm going to go ahead and snag that too.
That's good. They made it a physical, because we don't want like games like this to get lost.
Yes.
Over digital.
This one especially, because I think a lot of people are going to be in the comments of this video going, oh yeah, I've lost weeks of my life to this game, And so it's going to be one of those games, 10, 20 years from now, you're going to look back, you're going to be like, yeah, I love that game. So, physical version.
Right on. Okay, next game here. I think you're going to like this one. Diesel Legacy, the Brazen Age. This is a, I guess I would say this is a kind of like a gallery fighting game. It's 2-on-2 battles, and you fight in two planes, pretty much, like background and the foreground.
Oh, interesting.
Now, what's cool about this game, it plays more like a beat 'em up, but it has some really cool special moves in it. Like it'll crack you up. Like one of the moves I pulled off was there's this gangster mafia lady, and she pulled like one of her special moves is having her guys come in and do a drive-by on your character, on the characters you're fighting against. It's hilarious, but the animations look great in it. I mean, I was impressed. Another shout out to Sean Powers because I found out about this game because of him. Man, it's really unique and fun. I think there's a Switch version coming out, but I couldn't find it. But you know, the animations alone are in and are on point. I'm not sure it's like a tournament type game, but it is a fun game. I think a lot of people will like. So,
okay.
And you know, and it's online, of course, too.
Okay.
You have its own story mode and all that good stuff. But lots of goofy characters in it. Overall, I love stuff like this, and I'm glad I got a physical.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that's another game I haven't heard of before. I'll be curious to know if you've heard of this next game though. Everspace 2.
Dude, so check this out.
Oh, really?
Everspace 2.
Oh!
I just got it as well, man.
Oh, did you really? Have you played it yet?
Yes, I have played it, man. It is, I've been looking for that game for a long time for PS5, and I got lucky and found it at a GameStop Retro.
Yeah.
And, dude, you introduced me to the first game.
Yes. So, years ago I played the first game a little bit because that game is roguelike. So that the original was, randomized and meant to be played kind of forever. And while I enjoy those games, I don't really have hundreds of hours
to put into
So I heard this one was actually story driven. I was like,
it is. Yeah.
So, dude, I've put probably 10, 15 hours.
Oh, really?
Already into
I'm still
game.
like in the first 2 hours, but so this one's not. I was thinking this one was going to be roguelike like the first one as well.
Yeah.
But it had story to it, but it's just more like story driven. Okay.
Very much story driven. So this is, and it's funny because I had a friend of mine reach out to me recently, and he's like, "Hey, I really miss playing Wing Commander games." I'm like, "Dude, I've got the game for you."
Right on, dude.
Yeah. So in this game, you play as a clone, and you're kind of escaping. You're part of this military. I'm not entirely sure exactly kind of his role in it yet, but essentially he has been dying over and over again in this long war, and he's kind of breaking free. He's trying to resurrect a friend of his that is hurt, and then you meet a bunch of people. You get a robot and all this sort of stuff, but. Essentially, you're kind of cruising around the galaxy doing missions.
Too.
It's beautiful, dude. It's like shockingly good. And what's cool about it too is that it's not just in space. You also go down to planets. You also go into these mines. You'll go into cities. It's quite epic in scale.
Yeah, and there's a lot of dialogue going on too, so you just feel it feels alive, which is great.
Yeah.
The voice acting the
voice acting is really good. Actually,
it is.
Like
And they actually, I heard it came out with a DLC that really adds more to the game as well.
It is. I haven't picked up the DLC because I'm still going through the single player. But again, it looks gorgeous.
Yeah.
So I've been very impressed with this game. Like I said, and it was cool too because while it's not roguelike, there is no shortage of things to do because there's a main story, but also just flying somewhere, you'll pick up stuff. On your radar.
Yep.
And you'll be tempted, like it'll be a distress call or it'll be some sort of derelict spaceship that you want to explore.
Something to rescue or something like that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
But I do want to ask you guys, are you guys having trouble finding the PS5 version like I was? I don't know why. I couldn't find it anywhere online. I just felt like I got lucky and found it recently.
Yeah, so I get the Xbox version because that's the version I saw.
Right.
Yeah, and it runs really great on the Xbox, but yeah.
Cool, man. I'm glad.
I had no idea that you picked up a copy. That's so funny.
Alright, so my next game here is probably a game you've never seen before. I might have hinted to it at the beginning on accident. XenoCrisis for the Game Boy Advance. Yes, they ported it to the Game Boy Advance now. This is
it's
awesome,
so funny.
dude. I think this game was on every modern platform and most of the popular old school platforms, I would say.
It's insane.
It is.
Yeah.
Amazing top-down shooter. If you're familiar with Smash TV, you fit right at home with this game. The transition over to the Game Boy Advance is amazing. Now, this version is only one player, which I'm fine with. You're not really going to be linking up too many people on the Game Boy Advance these days. But man, amazing port, still a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I mean, this Bitmap Bureau is amazing. I can't believe they're making all these ports. And
I am curious what they're going to do because they're going to run out of consoles at some point. You know what I mean? And so, unless they put on the Apple Pippin
or something. I'm hoping if they're watching, man. I hope you guys put this game on the. Well, I was thinking more of the Amiga. You put it on the Amiga 32 CD.
They probably can.
Hopefully I said it properly. Like Amiga, I always mix it up.
The console version of
the console
Amiga.
version, yeah.
Oh, interesting.
CD version, yeah.
To sell it to 4 people.
They can limit to 50 copies or something. I don't know.
Yeah, sure. But I am curious. Like, okay, so what are they going to do next? You know what I mean? As far as
they've done the N64. They've done
everything.
Dreamcast.
Neo Geo.
I think there's a PS1 version.
Wow, it's crazy.
GameCube version.
Yeah.
What else are we looking at? They did a Neo Geo version, Neo Geo CD, MVS.
I mean, I guess if they keep selling. And,
they're selling.
I mean, the thing is, it's such a fun game.
It is
that it does warrant the putting it out on everything like that. So it's kind of crazy, man. Nobody does that.
Nobody, man.
No.
So Amiga 32 CD or Amiga CD 32
or Apple Pippin. All right, dude. Next up for me, I guess I'm gonna show you this here. So, Atari sent a press kit out to a bunch of people, and essentially what this is their latest clone system here, the Atari 7800 Plus.
That is awesome. I just actually purchased one of these recently.
Okay. Yeah, so this is the press kit. I'll show a close-up here. Yeah. And essentially what they included in here was a bunch of Atari 7800 games, which is pretty cool because I didn't actually have all of these. They also included the boxes and manuals as well.
Very nice.
And essentially what this plays is it plays Atari 2600 and 7800 games. What's cool is that this version of it comes with the better controller, the European style Atari 7800 controller.
Okay.
Yeah, and that actually unscrews off here too. So if you just wanted to have a normal D-pad or if you want to have a little thumbstick. So yeah, this was pretty interesting, pretty cool. I think a lot of people, myself included, were kind of surprised that they were going to do a 7800 kind of homage to it.
So it plays 2600 as well, because I haven't opened mine yet. And I think does it play the 52, 50, whatever that.
No, it doesn't because the cartridge slot's different. Bigger. Yeah, okay. but it'll play literally hundreds of games, and it's cool.
Well, I need to break the seal on mine because the reason I got it because I want to play. I have a homebrew of Baby Pac-Man.
Oh, okay.
So I have a couple of homebrews actually that I want to play on this system. So
it's funny you mention that because it will play a lot of homebrew games, including this one right here. So this one, Atari Hero is one of my favorite games. It's in almost every one of my videos, and it came out for the Atari 2600. It never came out for the 7800.
Wow.
This is a homebrew version, it kind of an homage to it called A.R.T.I, and essentially they recreated Hero for the 7800. They changed it a little bit. It's not licensed. It's a fan-made game. So instead of a helicopter, it's actually a jet. Now, the reason why that's interesting is because some people find the original Hero to be kind of frustrating because essentially you have to kind of push up for a second and it spins up your helicopter and it takes a second to... This, because it's a jetpack, is immediate. So in my opinion, this game's actually a little bit easier, especially for people who are trying to get into the game, which is cool. So you get all of the hero levels plus some additional stuff, better graphics, and it also kind of updates the gameplay.
It's kind of crazy, yeah, because in Hero with the helicopter on top of you, it seems kind of dangerous in a way. But then the jetpack too, though, like if somebody shot a bullet at it, it's over. But yeah,
but you still have like the laser, and you also still have the dynamite. It basically plays almost exactly like Hero. It's just that this is a 7800 version of it, and it works on the clone console.
Perfect.
Yeah.
On, dude. All right, guys. So my next item, another from Project Retro Games. We have Rogue Dawn Metroid, which is a unofficial prequel.
What the heck?
To the original Metroid game.
Dude, that cover is killer.
I know, right? Dude, so Rogue Dawn Metroid has been around for years. They made it, but people wanted it. I think I've seen a couple physicals out there, but nothing like this, dude. Like original NES box like that. There's a manual and the cart and everything like that. Good stuff. Wow. And then we have Splatterhouse Wapaku Graffiti. This is a kid version of Splatterhouse. If you guys have played Splatterhouse, it's the arcade game at Genesis.
Okay.
Yeah, it's on those systems.
This is kind of the kid-looking one, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So Project Retro made a physical for those, and I was like, dude. And this one, I don't know. I think the Splatterhouse is translated into English, but I don't know. You don't really need too much dialogue in a game like that. Anyway,
Sure.
But yeah, very cool. Another awesome project from.
So they added. So it looks like here on Metroid they added a save feature with 3 slots plus real-time map.
Yeah, I think they're doing another version physical where the original Metroid will have 3 save slots on it as well, because that game didn't have save slots or a map on it, which was annoying for a lot of people. But Rogue Dawn, I hear a lot of good things about this game, so definitely a good Metroid fan hack to play.
Oh, okay. That's cool. All right, next up for me is a game that you told me to buy because you're like, dude, you're going to want that. And you were right. So it is IGS Classic Arcade Collection. I got this, I believe, from PlayAsia. And essentially you're like, dude, people keep asking you about that particular game that you show. Yeah, and it's called Demon Front. And it's included on here for the very first time.
And if you guys aren't familiar with Demon Front, it's like a Metal Slug clone.
Yes, yeah.
So definitely a game you guys want to try out. It's really it's pretty cool.
It is, and it only got an arcade release, and so I had my MAME arcade cabinet, but it never, as far as we know, it never got an actual home physical release. This is the only one here, and this is kind of a surprise that they included in here, and along with a bunch of other kind of beat 'em ups and that sort of stuff. But yeah, just having a physical copy of Demon Front is pretty special.
Yeah, and that wasn't even the front runner to promote this.
I know.
I think the game on here was kind of promoting it was the Martial Arts Master because it's like a fighting game.
Yeah,
but man, definitely a cool collection to have. Like these type of collections, I feel like are just worth having because a lot of these guys, they don't really care about making like arcade games physical. But when we get them, it's amazing. So pick these type of games up, folks.
Yeah, again, Demon Front. People ask me about that all the time. Like, what is that game? Because it looks just slightly different because you have this pet that follows you around. It's just different enough. Yeah, so thank you for the suggestion.
Right on, man. All right, so next we have here is Shinorubi. This is the pink edition. This is comes with like some collector's item soundtrack. I believe it's steelbook. It might not come with a soundtrack. I forgot.
Red Art Games.
You guys are seeing it here. Yeah, Red Art Games. They're putting out some hits, man. Like you guys got to check them out. Because I believe this game came out on PS4, Switch, and maybe Xbox as well. Not really sure, but it's a really cool vertical shoot 'em up. There's a lot going on the screen, but it's like once you get used to it, it's a lot of fun. It's definitely a really cool shooter. I don't think a lot of people know about. So
I didn't know about this.
Yeah, I kind of want to put the word out for everybody know. It's definitely something you guys will want to check out. So I thought I might have showed it in the Pickups video before, like a PS4 version. I probably didn't, or maybe I forgot. Who knows?
Yeah, but we do so many.
We do so many. So this is a collector's edition version of it from Red Art. So definitely check it out.
Okay, I will. All right, next up is a game I'll be curious to know if you've heard of. That is Cat Quest. This is the trilogy that came out on Switch.
Wow.
So I originally heard of this because Kinsey was talking about how she was playing this kind of cutesy action RPG. This is years ago. And when I went to look it up, it's like people love this game. And it recently got a physical version with all 3 games included on the cartridge. And so essentially, it is exactly that. It's an action RPG. It involves cats, but don't let that fool you. This game will kick your butt.
Really? Okay.
Oh yes, because the entire map is open, and depending on how far north you go, is how difficult the combat is.
Okay.
And so you really do need to grind every once in a while, upgrade your armor, your weapons, your magic, and very addictive game. What's cool about it? I've only played the first one so far. Is that it's not very long either, so it doesn't overstay its welcome. I think you can beat it in probably 5-6 hours or something like that. The first one.
I like how they put on here 3 possum games in one.
Yeah, it's got a bunch of bad cat puns, so you have to be prepared for that. But yeah, this is a surprisingly fun game. And the other thing I really like about it too is that the combat doesn't take you off the map. So you're always on the map. You're always kind of picking up new side missions, and you can immediately go into combat without having to go into a load screen.
Okay.
You can avoid enemies if you want. You can play it kind of however you want. And I actually again got addicted to that game big time. Dude. Again, because it's not very long. It's not super difficult, and just fun enough.
Okay. Right on, man. I'll look into this. I've never played them before. So.
Yeah, I think you'd be surprised if you're looking for that 5-hour RPG. It's a good one for that.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Next game here, another shoot 'em up. We have Triggerheart Exelica. Now I showed this game.
Does sound familiar.
I showed this game years ago on the channel. It was in a Pickups video, and I had a collector's edition PS2 version of it. Came with an action figure and all that stuff. But Red Art put out this, and I was like, "Yep, let me go ahead and get that." Because originally the game came out on the Sega Dreamcast, and then it was it was the last game to come out on Dreamcast until it wasn't. It was I think it's like the second to last game now. But it did really well on that system, I believe, but it got ported to other systems, and now I'm happy it's coming out on Switch so more people will know about it. It's a pretty cool game. It's weird, the effect that you use in this game, it plays like a lot of shoot 'em ups, like you shoot and bomb stuff, but you have a grab effect where you grab enemies and toss them into like a bunch of enemies and blow them up, so that's like the cool effect this game has to make it kind of look slightly different from other shoot 'em ups, but definitely has a good soundtrack, fun boss battles. Yeah, hopefully
Dude, I've said this before, but the Switch is the shoot 'em up machine.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, and the PS4 too, but I mean, we're going to look back and it's like every single shoot 'em up I think came out on Switch. It's insane.
I just feel like shoot 'em ups, like they're like the last games to get like a physical release sometimes, so when we do get them, it's like I'm on it. So
that reminds me, actually, is that one of my favorite things about the Switch is that a lot of these games support Tate mode, where you can rotate the screen, because I was just thinking about it right here. I actually have a special grip that you basically turn it and play it, you know, on Tate mode. And I do that every once in a while when I'm in the mood.
Is it Tate mode or Tate mode or something?
I don't know. We have to ask Jill from GameSack.
Well, right on, dude. Right on.
Okay, cool. All right. Next up for me, something completely different. That is Gibbon. Yeah, Beyond the Trees. So this is something, you know me, I like trying new things that games that try to do something a little bit different.
Okay.
This is one of those games. So this is an auto-running game where you play as a gibbon. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Basically, it's this ape that spends most of its life in trees, and essentially what it does, it's an auto-running game where you basically are having to time kind of like your swings and also your running and your jumping. And essentially what it's meant to be is sort of like almost like not a history lesson, but kind of like this realistic look at what their life is like. And so it starts off in the jungle, and then slowly mankind is introduced to it because mankind is burning down the rainforest.
And building stuff around
And building stuff. And so over time, this game moves over into the cities, and eventually you're chased by poachers. You're trying to rescue some of your friends and families, because these type of apes actually mate for life. And so if a mate was taken, then you would want to get that mate back. And so not a very long game, but I found it incredibly fascinating. It's a really interesting look at the life of these apes in this environment. So it was pretty trippy.
When I saw the super rare logo on here, I said, yep, something unique here.
Yeah, exactly.
They know how to pick them.
Yeah, and that was one too. Again, not very long. I think I beat this in like an hour and a half. You know, it can get frustrating whenever you're trying to avoid the poachers and you're trying to time kind of like your swings. But yeah, it's an interesting game. So
okay. Next game here. I found out about this game because it was on my friend RNG Gamer's channel. He did a small review of this game. This is Rusted Moss, and this is a Metroidvania game where the uniqueness in this game, that's because I just got it the other day. I only got to play just a little bit of it, but you have a grappling hook in the game that you use to kind of get around areas and like the kind of like fight bosses and things like that. And you have like this gun. It looked really fun and unique, and one of the other reasons I took interest in it because it is made by Plasm, the same people who did. I think they did Drainus and a couple other games I can't think of right now for some reason. Okay. But they're a unique company, and they put out some really cool stuff. So definitely, if you like Metroidvanias, I would say keep your eye out for this one. You know, I thought it was unique enough, especially you got a physical.
Yeah. It says for Japan only, so you may have to do the import thing for that. For now, well, I don't know.
Well, no, it play. You can play it on your system. And it plays in English too.
Oh, so I'm just saying to get the physical. You have to import it.
Yep. So don't let that throw you off if it says Japan only. Just pick it up anyways.
Okay, cool. All right. All right, next up for me, Mega Cat Studios sent me a beta demo of a new game they're creating for the Genesis / Mega Drive. So it's called Lethal Wedding. And essentially what this is, you play as two brides. You can choose to play one or the other because they have a slightly different weapon style. And essentially it's a run and gun shooter. Now, what's interesting about this game, at first I was sucking at this. I was terrible at it. That's because depending on who you choose, you really have to time your reloads. So you can't just go in guns blazing all the time because you run out of bullets. And depending on whether you have the shotgun or the other one, you have to time kind of like, reloading and stuff like that. But I got addicted to this game. I actually played it quite a bit. Once I figured that out, I was running and gunning, shooting all sorts of stuff. It's got really funny cutscenes, and yeah, it's pretty cool.
Pretty cool. Do they know when they're releasing this?
I don't know, because I got this probably a month or two ago. I've had it for a while. Okay. So, but usually with Mega Cat Studios, and I'll put a link to all this stuff down below. Usually you can buy it after it's, after it goes live or whatever.
Right.
I assume they're doing a Kickstarter or something like that. Yeah. So they'll have information on their website.
Yeah, cool company to check out, guys, especially if you like homebrews for older systems. Very cool. All right, so man, we're going through it here.
Yeah, I just have 2 more things, so if you have more...
Okay, well, I'm going to try to blitz through these really fast.
Okay.
Alright, so next item I got here. This is the Video Game Collector's Field Guide by Tristan Ibarra? Sorry if I pronounced your name, Tristan. I'm sorry. We got your first name right.
This thing's hefty.
But he did a book about all the collectibles for his system. And that one's like all systems, like all variants and stuff like that. Like all kind of extra stuff. And I was like, me and my buddy were looking at it, but we were like, dude, this is amazing. Like this is like all history, dude. Like just how he put everything out on it was amazing. And as far as I know, he has 4 books out, which I have here. You guys are seeing the footage of them. And this dude did an amazing job on them.
He covers everything.
Yeah, he's known for those Halloween horror homebrew games for the NES. We showed one in the last Pickups video, I believe. So definitely something really cool to check out. Like a lot of history here, a lot of information about stuff that you might not even know about.
Dude, he's covering every like not just popular stuff, but like.
Dude, it's amazing.
Huh, okay.
In 4 books, I'm like, a lot of reading to do. So definitely check these books out, guys. And I also got Tales of Grace's F for PS5. Got the PS3 version, but lost my data on it. So I always wanted to play through the game again. Beautiful game. Lots of fun. It has 3 story arcs. I think this is the only Tales game that has like 3 story arcs, and where the story changes completely. But definitely a cool game, action RPG to check out for you guys. Let's keep it going here. Got a blitz. I also got the Unico Pocket. If any of you guys have played this, so I would say I did a review for it on my channel, and I like it, but it's like I just had my system. There was something wrong with the D-pad. Hopefully that's not happening with everybody's stuff. But
this is specifically for SNK games, correct?
Yeah, SNK. 40 games on there. Okay. A lot of cool titles on it. But with the D-pad, for me, it's just like playing a fighting game or something like that.
Yeah.
But it's a cool system. I think it's for hardcore SNK people. So if you want to play your SNK games on the go, boom. But hopefully you guys' system wasn't like my D-pad was. My D-pad was...
It says sample, so maybe it was a pre-production
thing.
So
maybe the retail versions are fine, which is cool. But yeah, something to look out for. I also got here... Yars Rising. Yars is finally back, folks.
Okay, I'm curious to know what you think about this, because I love the original back on the 2600.
Well, this is totally different. I think what they did was they said, hey, we want to put out a game, maybe not take a risk, so let's get let's buy the IP. Yeah, and just slap another game in here. But it's really cool though. Great soundtrack. The platforming was fun.
It's like a Metroidvania style game, right?
You kind of like kind of like that. I would say, I had more fun with it than I thought I would. I mean, a lot of people might got turned off by it. It's not even a Yard game.
It's made by WayForward.
They know how to put it. Yeah, exactly.
They know how to make it. I had no idea.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I might actually want to check this out then.
Yeah, these games, the physicals that I've seen, they're always on sale for like $20, so it's definitely like something unique to play. I had to get it, so it hooked me. Okay, next game here, hopefully I pronounce this right. Shinobi Non Grata for the PS4. Strictly limited, put this out. It was a total surprise to me. It plays like a Shinobi game, but it's like all arcade, it's all like you're fighting like 4 bosses a level and everything like that. So you pretty much go through the level, you get different weapons, and it's just really just took me by storm. I was really impressed with this one. It gets straight to the point. It's a lot of fun. You get guns, Ninja Star, all that stuff. And you see in the footage here, just definitely something to keep your eye out for from Strictly Limited.
I had no idea.
Happy about that one. Okay, and blitzing through.
Yeah, because I only have 2 more things left, so.
I got Ease Oath of Felghana for PS5. And I also, as an extra, I got the Ease Lacrimosa of Donna.
That looks like novel. A book.
Yes.
Do you read books?
Well, not in a long time, but now I'll be reading this one. I think I'm on the Hamo chapter, I believe. Okay. So it was actually really good. You know what I mean? Like, I thought they did a good job on the book. You know, I say Ys 8 is my favorite. You know, a lot of hardcore guys are like, nah, the first few games, and I get that. But for start to get into the Ys series, I think the 8 is the perfect one to get into. And I love the story in it. And the lady who helped write this, she did a good job on it so far. I like the expansion of the characters and the story, so it's definitely pretty cool. I don't know when I'll finish it, but I'm pretty into it.
Dude, I'm teasing you, but I recently started reading on my iPad, you know, through the Kindle app. Yeah. Because I kind of especially over Christmas, stuff like that, I was like, you know, I kind of miss reading. Yeah. You know, instead of just doom scrolling all the time, it's like, man, I want to read a book. You know what I mean? And so I actually did. I read like several books, and I kind of missed it. You know?
I hear you on that, man. It kind of helps with the imagination.
It does, and like you said, kind of maybe flesh out some of the backstory or whatever.
Exactly. So, still going through the blitz here, but the last. Okay. Here we go. I got this. This is Shockman Zero for the Super Nintendo. That is it's hard to it's a popular game on the TurboGrafx system, but I don't think a lot of people know about it. But they did bring out some of the games on digital, and that game was actually on a satellite view system, that digital Nintendo system back in the day.
Okay, yeah.
But somebody pulled it off, and they made a physical cartridge for it finally, and it's translated in English now.
I think I heard of this. Okay.
Yeah, it's a pretty fun game. It's a co-op beat 'em up game. I would say platform beat 'em up, and pretty fun. You know, I think it's the best Shockman game, but I haven't played Shockman 3 yet. So
interesting, but it's a Super Nintendo.
But but they put on
Super Famicom.
Yeah, Super Famicom, Super Nintendo. Yeah. So Retrobit did a good job, you know, making.
Yeah,
so
I like that box. It's cool. Okay.
And then here is Raging Bites for PS5.
Another game I haven't heard of.
This is a survival horror game, but it's RPG like, and it's really cool because it plays back in the 1970s, so you don't have all the access to stuff we do now. But it plays kind of like it goes over the story like Walking Dead does. Like, you wake up in the hospital, you try to get out of the hospital, there's zombies in there. It's pretty cool. This game is fun. The dialogue is hilarious. I mean, not hilarious, but it's like really interesting. It makes you interested in the characters and stuff like that. So, Raging Bites, another one, it went under my radar. And now I'm down to my last two. So,
all right, dude, I'm going to be curious to know if you've heard of this next game. It is called Black Myth Wukong, and I have the game there, as well as this little guy right here.
Is that part of the collector's edition?
It is part of the collector's edition. And so, have you heard of this game?
I have. It's I remember that it was digital in the beginning,
right?
Then it eventually got a physical because people were worried it wasn't going to get a physical.
It's crazy because this game sold 20 million copies last year.
20 million copies. It didn't get Game of the Year?
Well, I think it did win some Game of the Year, but yeah, it was massively popular. Okay. This is the physical version. I have the collector's edition of it. So essentially, it's based on a Chinese story called Journey to the West. It's the same story that Enslaved Odyssey to the West was based on the PlayStation.
Really?
PS3, Xbox 360, yeah.
That game was on point too.
Yeah, where you basically, you're going on this long journey. Now, this is obviously a much different game. This is way more Souls-like. Okay. But it's a third-person action RPG. The first thing I noticed with this game, dude, it is absolutely gorgeous. It has a kind of realistic style to it, where it's every place I went, and I've just started this game, guys. It's massive, and it's tough too. So it's not typically the kind of game that I am very good at, but I'm addicted to it because it is so beautiful and interesting to explore.
Wow, dude.
Yeah. So getting the physical version of that was really cool. Okay. Very impressive game. Like I said, I've just started it. It's kicked my butt a couple times. But the collector's edition is really impressive. And so you get a bunch of stuff in there. You get some rings and all that sort of stuff. But the big thing is that you actually get the main character, and he's fully posable, and he's got weapons and stuff like that. So I had to show that as
this is very cool. See, this is the type of game right now as it is. I'll probably be able to get this game when it gets to like $40 or something like that. Lots of games to play, but yeah, this looks cool, man. I'm gonna check this out.
I would be curious to see you play it and see if you like it, because you know you do like fighting games, and so this is a type of game where, again, very Souls-like, where every single encounter can potentially kill you, so you can't really rush into stuff. You have to block. You have to be patient. Not every encounter, but a lot of them for sure. Especially, and I'm going through this world, and you turn a corner, and there's something that could just like wipe you off the map.
How's the checkpoint system in the game? Is it pretty?
It's pretty good. I mean, it seems pretty reasonable. And again, in like Souls-like games, you learn, right? You basically learn. You'll either take a different direction, or you'll learn the pattern that they attack you with. So, I don't know. I know a lot of people played this. I would be curious to know how many people got the collector's edition or the physical version. So let us know down in the comments.
Right on. Next item here. Got Wild Guns.
Okay.
Collector's Edition from Strictly Limited. So if you haven't played Wild Guns, it's a very similar to games like Cabal and my favorite game, Blood Brothers. I would call it a gallery shooter, but this is an upgraded version of Wild Guns from the Super Nintendo, Reloaded. They had 2 new characters, I believe 2 new levels, if I remember correctly. But I had to get this collector's edition because it comes with so much stuff.
Oh yeah.
I feel like Strictly Limited out of all companies, like they're one of the top ones that goes all out for collector's edition, like really good collector's edition. Not some of the stuff that's called a collector's edition is like crap stuff. Like they really put a lot of hard work into it, and that's why I appreciate them. So picked that up. It was on sale, so I was like, "Yep, let me go ahead and grab that." So Wild Guns, it's a tough game. It's easier on the Switch because Switch has like a easy mode or a baby mode or something like that. But once you get used to the mechanics and how things play out, it's definitely a game you get through. But you got to pay attention because everybody's shooting at you and they got a dead beat on you. It's hard to like you're aiming at something and they're just all shooting. You got to roll out of the way. It gets very intense, but it's a lot of fun. So keep your eye out.
All right, cool. Well, my last one here is something that kind of touched my heart a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay. So this one came to me with a personal letter.
Okay.
And basically, this is a homebrew game. It's a self-made game by a couple out of Melbourne, Australia. And during the pandemic, the husband, who is a carpenter, was sitting at home, and he's always had the dream of making his own game. And so he decided, since he had a bunch of time, he was going to do that. He was going to take the time and create his dream game, having, I don't think, any experience doing so. Right. And this is the result of it. So they did a Kickstarter, which was successful, and then they had stretch goals for physical versions of it. And this is what it is. And so basically, it's a very typical kind of like Game Boy action adventure game, where you cruise around this world and you fight monsters, you talk to villagers and stuff like that, you go on quests and things. It is interesting though because it's very turn-based, so essentially when you get into combat, it shows you almost like a Final Fantasy, like, okay, this is
order and everything, like with
do you want to fight, do you want to heal, do you want to use magic, that sort of stuff. And just a labor of love. I mean, this version of it comes with a physical version of the game, comes with a map, and the couple just basically wanted to be developers, which I thought was pretty neat.
That is awesome that they did this, and I'm glad they started with the Game Boy, because the Game Boy, I feel like is a good system to kind of start something like that if you never had experience with it. But,
I believe they used GB Studio to create it, and and so I've never personally used that, but I know people have used that in the past. And so again, just to be able to go from a carpenter to actually publishing their own physical game, I thought was pretty neat. So
very cool.
Yeah, and so
there's only 100 made then, physicals, right? I'm guessing.
Oh,
this is maybe a Kickstarter 100. I
think that's based on the Kickstarter. I don't know, so I apologize. I have no idea, but I know that they do sell a digital version of it, and they probably sell maybe like a lesser collector edition of it. So I'll links down in the video description below. So
very cool.
Yeah, I thought that was really neat. Like I said, they send a letter with all this stuff. I was like,
I know.
That's cool.
So I guess I'll close it out here. Is that it? Yeah, that's it. Last item here, and I just got this in the mail too. But I got the anniversary edition of Wonder Boy Collection for PS4.
Okay.
So that's right here. What I just handed you. That's just the shipping box that it came in. Like that's the purchasing right there, and a bunch of stuff. Like when you get compilations of games like this, I feel like just go all out. So I went ahead and got like I think it actually has different variations of the Wonder Boy games on there too, I believe. Haven't got
I think
too much into it yet.
Okay, it has these little
acrylic like art pieces that you can put together.
Card game, soundtrack, pins, books. Wow.
Strictly Limited.
Yeah.
See? Yeah. So, you know, the Wonder Boy series, very fun. My favorite is the 4th game. I think that's like the best one, but a lot of people appreciate like the other games too. But definitely that collection, I said, is worth getting because, like I said, it's a love letter to old school games that like a lot of new generation don't know about. You know, this is the kind of stuff we came up with. So very cool to have that.
Wow.
Very happy.
Lots of stuff in this video I had not seen before.
Yeah, yeah. Another pickups video for you guys.
Yes, another one in the bank. So where can people find you on the internet, dude?
The Radical one, come check me out.
Yeah, definitely.
Random videos or whatever like that with games.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys, thank you very much for watching. Thank you for subscribing, and take care.